Breaking news.
The rape of Nanking was a terrible event where hundreds of thousands perished. The massacre started on December 13th, 1937, when Japan took over Nanking, the capital of the Republic of China, located in eastern China. This was so much worse than a war because of the awful acts towards the civilians. The women were raped and then killed in horrific ways. The men, tortured and brutally murdered for sport. It was such a short event, only 6 weeks long, which just goes to show how cruel it must have been for the people involved. And now, we cut to Taylor for an explanation of events. Thank you, Taylor. In 1931, the Japanese occupation of the Chinese province of Manchuria transformed it into a Japanese puppet state. It was the first step in Japan's drive to control all of China. 6 years would pass before Japanese committed their next step. Early July 1937, Japanese and Chinese troops clashed in Peking in an incident at the Marco Polo Bridge. The Japanese then launched a full assault at the city at the end of the month, utilizing massed infantry, tanks, and airstrikes. It did not take long for the city to fall for the Japanese. All of this fighting continued into August, and then the Japanese attacked Shanghai and retreated the Chinese army up the Yangtze Valley to the national capital at Nanking. The Japanese then began their attack in that city in early December, forcing its surrender on December 13th. A horrible part of the war started then. The population of Nanking was subject to the uncontrolled butchery that became known as the Rape of Nanking. Rape was common as thousands of women were forced into brutal sex and often murdered. The carnage lasted for about 6 weeks and took about 40,000 lives. And now, we'll cut to a commercial, but when we come back, we will show you the major people that were involved in this horrible event.
This is the end.
And here's air coverage of the best news, where we will resume with our eyewitness report.
Erin, we're here at Nanking, where the recent event of the rape of Nanking took place. General Haizu of the Japanese army ordered this whole event by initially beheading 2 prisoners of war, which were citizens of Nanking, and publicly beheading them, claiming that he was testing his new sword. I have a witness that can testify to this.
Yes, I was standing in a crowd and heard a huge gasp, and I looked over and the Japanese general was beheading 2 of the men I went to school with when I was a child.
What was your reaction when you saw this?
I was shocked. I didn't know what they had done to deserve that.
Would you say this was the turning point of the war?
Definitely. After the soldier saw what he did and followed in his footsteps, this is something me and my town will never forget.
Well, you're very brave for sharing your story.
Now it's time for statistics. Whoosh.
The stats are very shocking.
There were so many deaths in such a short period of time.
Approximately 250 to 300,000 people were killed.
All the deaths took place from mid-November to March 1938.
Approximately 20,000 women were raped.
Those are the reality of what was happening, but there were some heroes involved.
John Ray, a member of the Nazi Party, rescued around 200 to 250,000 people.
People need to know what really happened, so it'll never happen like this again.
Our next debate will be a tough one. The rape of Nanking, where a Chinese population is slaughtered by Japanese military forces. Unjust or necessary? Well, there's only one way to find out. Please welcome Chinese peasant Mei Zhu and Japanese militia representative Shogo Hayashi. Mei, please present your case. Shogo will follow with yours.
Alright, to start out, say that I'm completely against the Holocaust. What it did to the Chinese people was cruel and insane.
Well, I, for one, don't think it was too terrible.
Do you even know what happened? Not only were thousands of us killed, but over 200,000 women, children, and elders were raped and mutilated in horrible ways.
Serves you right. The Chinese peasants didn't care, so what if a few people died? We were part of a war. We revolted. We only did what we had to.
You are a terrible person. Did you have to rape and murder them? Did you have to steal all their valuable possessions? Did you know that there was even a killing contest that was publicly broadcasted?
I'm sure this is all greatly exaggerated. Yes, a few men might have gone a bit overboard, but the Japanese militia was only protecting the country.
Those are very good points, both of you. Mai, I believe you have a story about your grandfather and grandmother?
Yes, I do. My elders were wonderful people who were kind to everyone, but you showed them no mercy. After raping and killing my grandmother, the Japanese men forced my grandfather to dig his own grave and be buried alive.
Shogo, is it true that many Chinese people suffered the same fate?
Yeah, but not nearly as much as they say.
Actually, Shogo, it is more than you think. Every night around 1,000 girls were raped, most of them children.
And they were raped to death.
Well, I have nothing more to say about it. Fine. Maybe I lost. Maybe they were awful. But the Japanese people are proud, and the Chinese people are scum.
You were cruel and brutal. Never forget that.
Well, I suppose that concludes our debate. It appears Shogo has had too much evidence thrown against him. The rape of Nanking was a shameful time for the Japanese, and we all give your people our eternal thoughts.
Cut to closure, take one, go.
Let's work.
Yeah.
And closure, take 47, ready?
Alright, people, let's keep it together. And action.
The end to this massacre finally came when Westerners stepped in and saved the city. Though we only had minimal knowledge because the US and Great Britain were focused on the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. There was a group, however, of about 20 Americans and Europeans still remaining in the city, and they made it their responsibility to save the city. They worked day and night to make Nanking a safe zone so the tragedy could end. Not everyone was able to be saved by the safe zones. Those that did not make it there still perished. But without this amazing group of heroes, who knows what we could
Oh, cut. Alright, no, give me the... Okay, Jessica, get out. Get out, you're fired. You're fired. You're done. Get out. Taylor, you do it. God. Alright, just pick up from there. Get out!
But without this amazing group of heroes, who knew what could have been the result? That's a wrap.
That's it.
Literally all there
That's
was
it.
left.
We're done. We're done. The end.
That was great news. No,
It's awesome.
that was the best news. Thank you. Yeah! So cool! Jessica, no, wrong.
The entire Holocaust.
Nanking was a shameful time for the Japanese, and may we all give your people our eternal apologies.
And now we cut to the other tailor. No, Alex, you have to go the other way. No! And now we cut to Taylor for an explanation of the events of Nanking. No, stop. The Japanese then launched a full assault at the
But well, like, it's very obvious. So just kind of like
Do stop. Retreated Chinese army up the Yangtze Valley to the national capital at Japan. Nanking. Okay. Steve, are you ready for me?
Clever shot.
Rape was common as thousands of women were forced.
The rape of Nanking was a terrible event where hundreds of thousands.
Really?
I told you I was gonna lie.
Whatever. And now a special thanks to Alex Calloway. Come on out, Alex. And here we have air coverage. Hold on. Don't cut yet, Steve.
Nope.